Winter. It's cold. It's wet. It can put a damper in your everyday life. It can make road conditions super unsafe. Welcome to Stellar Radio. I'm Kev. This is J-Roc.
Hey.
And today we're telling you how to survive winter. Hey, welcome to Stellar Radio. I'm Kev, this is J-Roc, and today we're going to tell you how to survive winter. Jay, we had a storm last week.
Yeah, it was a pretty big one, Kevin. I mean, I have a car, and it was definitely trouble for me to drive around. I didn't have my winter tires on yet, and It was quite an event.
Did you have four-wheel drive?
I do have four-wheel drive, fortunately, but I mean, I have a V8 engine. It's pretty sweet, but without
Baller,
but without winter tires, Kevin, I mean, all-season tires just don't cut it.
Yeah. No, and I'm driving Sunfire, front-wheel drive, with all season. But I have the theory, winter is a season, so I don't know. Maybe we should be able to drive with it. Coming up in the show, we're gonna investigate this topic, how to survive winter. So we're gonna be talking to a weather specialist.
Yep, John Wilson,
and we're also gonna be hitting the streets of Fanshawe, seeing how other students are surviving the winter weather.
We also looked at some tips that what you can do when you get snowed in at home. So some activities you can do in your backyard with the snow, what you can do in the house to stay busy.
Don't get bored. Yeah.
Yeah, and we also have car safety.
Car safety, and you know what? Maybe we should get into that right now. Nope. See, we're still winter driving. So we prepared a winter driving emergency kit. We're both car.
Yep.
Car owners.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, we had to make sure. So first thing you should include
in your winter driving kit is
first aid kit. There we go.
Yep, first aid kit.
It's just there to help you out with cuts, bruises, anything emergency happens. Hopefully you never have to use it, but it's always good to have just in case.
Yeah, it's extremely important in case you have an accident if you drive into a snowbank, get cut. It's great to have there to patch up any immediate injuries. It's pretty sweet for that.
Do you have a first aid kit, Jay?
Unfortunately, I do actually have a first aid kit.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay, you're doing better than me. Actually, no. I did. It's currently not in my car.
Okay. At least you have one.
At least I have one. Another thing you might want to include is jumper cables.
Jumper cables, really important. Actually, cars usually have a difficult time starting in the winter, so jumper cables are there for that.
Exactly. And you know what? Going on to our interview, it was one of the thing our weather specialist said when talking about winter driving was to have your battery checked.
Yes. Yep.
But also, bring some jumpers just in case.
Yeah. Might need that extra boost.
Windshield wiper fluid. Now, winter typically you use a lot. I find when I'm driving, when a passing vehicle goes past me, my windshield's it's dirty, and I use this a lot.
Yeah, I definitely use windshield wiper fluid all the time in the winter. I have to refill my car about once or twice during the winter, but during the summer I don't go through this stuff at all, never. So.
Never?
Nope. Well, sometimes.
You don't get mud on your windshield?
Every once in a while.
What about a bug?
Yeah, sometimes that happens, but.
Ice scraper. To scrape off all the ice.
Yeah,
on the
very
windshield.
important. I actually used this morning on my car.
I think pretty much most of us in London have been using this every day this week.
Yeah, I mean, once you get some ice on your window, you can't see anything, so you do have to scrape that off before you can start driving. So it is very important to have with you.
Cat litter. Now this one, they do sell. This is for if your car did get stuck, you put this underneath your tires to gain a little bit of traction. there are actual like specialty products like this to actually help you, but this is a lot cheaper alternative.
Yeah, see, when I looked at this one, I was like, oh, like, how is cat litter involved with car safety, right? But after reading about it and hearing some stuff and how it can be used, I mean, it's actually a very helpful thing to have with you in your car in case you do need it.
And it was one of the things Environment Canada actually recommended to keep in your car.
Yeah, and Environment Canada is good, so.
Well, they better be. We do pay them.
Yeah, we do.
Shovel. When you do get stuck, it'd be nice to dig your way out.
Yes, for sure.
Providing some hope.
Yeah, shovel is definitely an important thing to have in your car. Not even like necessarily a big, massive shovel. You can just get a small little one you can put in your trunk, have it whenever if you get stuck in a ditch, if you want to try to dig yourself out. It's just there to have.
Safety vests. If you get like stuck in the dark, and there's drivers going by, it's nice to be one, reflective. So in case, hey, you're like far off, at least it's gonna be easier to see you. And two, like just passing vehicles, they know, okay, slow down, let's go around, take your time.
And it's not even in the nighttime. I mean, I worked on a construction crew this summer, and we had to wear our safety vests in the daytime, just because it's a safety thing, right? Other cars can see you even in the daytime, and it's just a great thing to have with you to make you stay safe.
You know what's even better than safety vests?
What's better than safety vests?
Flashlights.
Yes, for sure, flashlights.
You know what? They're just great to have around. Even though like we got like our cell phones with lights pretty much built in, like it's just good old school flashlight. Phones batteries dies, but if you get like if you don't put in like your batteries in a flashlight, just anytime, just pop them in. Those are probably good for another like few years.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if your car crashes on the side of the road and you can't charge your phone or anything, right? What are you going to use? Well, luckily you got your handy dandy emergency flashlight there for you.
In case you forgot your jumper cables, your batteries that you can't charge your phone, and so it's nice to have. Road flares.
Very important.
Now, Jay, do you carry road flares with you?
Unfortunately, I don't have road flares.
Actually, I'm slacking too. I do not have road flares either, but it makes sense why to have them. It's like, it's yet again, if you get stuck in the ditch at night, people know, hey, drive slow. Well, they should be driving slow. It's winter.
Yeah. Stay away from this area. I mean, just be more careful. They are a great thing to have.
Candles.
Now, I do have these, Kevin.
Do you? I do too as well. Now, these are typically used for if you get stuck in the snow, your battery's dead. We're going through like every worst case scenario. Just make sure you're covered.
Yeah, like not saying you not necessarily need all these things.
Oh, no, they should. They should. If they're driving in London right now, they should be having all these things.
Yeah, of course.
Even though we're slacking a little bit, we should have this. So, candles. If your battery dies and you don't want even if you are stuck, don't waste gas. Actually, just light a candle. Keep your hands warm. And provide some light too if it gets dark.
Yeah, exactly.
Winter clothing. That is one awesome hat right there.
That is a fantastic hat, actually. Winter clothing is extremely important, especially if you crash on the side of the road. You might be there for a while before someone can help pick you up. Your car might not be working if you don't have those jumper cables, and you don't have any heat, so you just need some winter clothes to keep you warm while all that's going on.
I don't know if you heard about this. Last week, massive snowstorm. You're probably living it, but CAA, there was actually a 3-hour delay. So you're going to want to bundle up just in case.
See, I really respect CAA. I think they're a great company. I always have had a CAA membership, but I didn't actually know that. And that is
a 3-hour delay. So you're going to be in the cold for 3 hours. It's good to bundle up.
Yeah, those are the kind of things that you're going to need some winter clothes for to keep you warm.
And something we all probably have in our pockets currently, a cell phone.
Cell phone. They're not always charged, but they're usually always there.
They're usually always there. That's a good-looking phone there, too.
That is actually my cell phone, yes. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, it's always good to have around, maybe even just a cheap pay-as-you-go in your car, dedicated for your car just for emergencies.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to have a way to connect with people if you do crash on the side of the road. I mean, there's not always people there to help you out. You might be on a side road. It might be 2 a.m. in the morning, and who's going to help you out, right? Especially if you don't have any winter clothes, you're going to be freezing, so you want to get somebody to come pick you up.
Exactly, and I don't know, I'm recommending the second cell phone because, I don't know, our smartphones, I don't know about your phone, but my phone, the battery runs out super quick.
Yeah, mine does too.
So it's good to have a phone just dedicated.
It probably is mostly in response to Angry Birds that I play all the time that killed my battery, but
Yeah, you're not into that, what's it called?
Candy Crush?
Candy Crush.
Oh, I played a bit, but Angry Birds is still where I'm at.
All right, one honorable mention would be to carry some extra food too. You never know how long you're gonna be waiting, so just something that won't spoil, like canned food.
Yeah,
or
and always a can
bar.
opener with that.
Can opener.
with your cans.
Oh, yeah. Well, they got ones you can peel off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's always good to have a spare snack.
Yeah, it is. What are we for time? All right. So coming up, we are going to be talking to a weather specialist, John Wilson, who works right here in London, teaches right here at Fanshawe. We're going to talk to him and see what he thinks about the weather. How should we be prepared? It's just, yeah. So stay tuned. Do you know Stellar?
Yeah, of course.
Do you know Stellar?
Of course I know Stellar.
Do you know Stellar?
What's Stellar?
Stellar is a part of Radio Fanshawe. It's the magic of the studios captured on camera for your entertainment. Stellar brings you the latest news and, in general, what's going on in the City of London. Stellar is your window into the Fanshawe studios. See the Fanshawe students in action, be entertained, gain community awareness. That's what Stellar's about.
Stellar Radio is a way for you to stay connected with your school community and the community at large. There's lots going on in London, and your Stellar host will keep you posted, especially when it comes to school sports. This is Stellar Radio.
So I'm with Luke, and Luke, you've worked on Stellar Radio before.
Yeah, I've done it a couple times.
What do you like about Stellar?
I like that it brings a different spin to radio. It's more than just the audio. You get to prepare a half-hour video show as well. It's kind of like expanding your horizons.
What are some of the advantages Stellar has as a medium?
As a medium, it's just that really. It's in regular radio when you're over the airwaves, you get just the audio of your voice that's brought out. But through Stellar as well, you get to share what it is you look like as well, and you can bring a whole different creative aspect to your show.
Stellar Radio is just one part of the broadcast center here at Fanshawe College, a state-of-the-art facility that is the heart of radio broadcasting and broadcast journalism programs. Stream Stellar Radio online today at stellarradio.ca and get to know Stellar a little better. You'll be glad you did.
Hey, welcome back to Stellar Radio. We're talking about how to survive winter weather. Now, coming up, our next guest is a weather specialist, AM 980's John Wilson. He's going to tell us, what should we do if, we do get stuck? Well, not get stuck, but how should we prepare ourselves? And, maybe a little bit how we do know if a storm's coming. Jay, how do you know if a storm's coming?
Well, I actually listen to the Weather Network. I also go on Environment Canada. I check out those. I listen to the Weatherman. And John Wilson really let us know what he does actually for getting ready for weather storms also. So that's good. We're going to get a little bit of insight of what he thinks you should do while getting ready for a winter storm.
Now, there are some sources worse than others, and so that's one question we asked was some people use the Weather Network. You said you're one of them. You said you jump back and forth. I prefer Environment Canada forecast, but my phone, it's got an app. A lot of people, they have Surrey.
Right.
I just find it's wrong most of the time.
There's so many different weather networks out there, and I think the reason that there's so many is because people don't stick with one. They listen to Environment Canada for a while, they get fed up with it, and they go to something else. I mean, this is what's happening with all the weather networks out there.
All the weather networks? Okay. I don't know. It's just, do you have an app on your phone too, or you just go straight to the website?
Yeah, I go straight to the website.
Straight to the website.
Sometimes I listen to the radio.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Well, they're pretty accurate. They better be.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Okay. I'm with John Wilson, weather specialist at AM 980. Now, John, how do you know if a storm's coming?
Well, Kevin, we got technology, and that's a good thing. We've got satellite, we've got radar, we've got the computer models, which are getting increasingly sophisticated about predicting the little warps in the jet stream that create these things, and we can see them coming now, both from a radar and satellite point of view.
Okay. Now, what do you advise people to do when a storm's coming?
A storm like we had?
Yeah, like last week.
Just don't go outside. That is a local case where you get a long fetch of wind across Warm Lake Huron water for about 200 miles or 500 kilometers, and it just picks up all this stuff and it's like somebody turned a hose on. You go 10 kilometers out of town either side, there's nothing. What can you do? You just wait for the wind to change and the snow machine to shut down and ready.
Yeah, because I heard places like Strathroy barely got anything.
Oh yeah, and then yesterday, I'm dating myself here. Yeah, and then there's the instance where a couple of days later we get several centimeters, and they get dozens, just wherever the wind lines up off that big honkin' Lake Huron. That's the thing around here a lot of time.
Okay. Now, what is one of the worst storms you've ever reported on?
Well, the one the other day was pretty significant.
That was one of the worst?
Yeah, one of the worst. But I think probably the big daddy of them all was about 3 years ago, December 7th.
Snowmageddon.
Yeah, Snowmageddon. It was a lake effect squall. Again, 10 kilometers either side of town. There's nothing. And we got, I think, 28 inches, which was about, I don't know how many centimeters that is. I'm old.
28 inches.
It was a lot. It was like 2.5 feet of snow in 36 hours. The hose got turned on Lake Huron, and they just never turned off the hose. The wind stayed the same direction for 36 hours. It just kept pumping and pumping it.
It was almost. I was going to school at the time. I've never seen Fanshawe have a snow day, and that was one of the few days that actually had one.
One of the very few. And up in the snow belt, Georgian Bay, they get a lot of this stuff all the time. I've seen a lot of those, but I've never seen anything quite like this one.
So, has the weather ever affected you getting into work?
Oh, it has, but I think I've always managed to get into work. All the years I did morning radio, you go up at 4:30 in the morning and the plows are just barely out. I don't remember ever not getting into work, but I remember getting stuck at work a few times. Back in the 70s, we had a big snowstorm with an ice storm in it, and it trapped us all downtown in the radio station for the best part of 24 hours.
Now, are people more concerned about the weather in the winter than in the summer?
That's a good question. Canadians are weather junkies because, of course, our weather is so variable and extreme in all seasons. In the winter, we're concerned about snow, ice, driving conditions, whiteouts, all that stuff. But in the summer, we've got thunderstorms to concern ourselves with. They can pop up in mere minutes, and they can really do a lot of damage just out of nowhere. So there's always something around here to concern yourself with weather-wise.
Okay. So I was thinking like in places like California where the weather is typically very nice. Do you think they are concerned about the weather?
They have their own issues. They have fog on the coast. Some of it can be very thick. The cold Pacific Ocean, the warm land there. They've got Santa Ana winds, those desert winds that rush down from the deserts across the mountain passes, create fires. Fire danger is completely wind dependent, and the dryness, the lack of rain in California. So every place has its own little weather regime that has to be concerned about. There aren't very many places in the world that have a weather that's forgettable.
Okay. How should people prepare their homes for a winter storm?
First of all, check your vents. I think the most important thing is the outside vents where the dryer goes out, where the furnace goes out. They can get, with a bad one, they can get plugged with snow, and you may not even know it. And then you get carbon monoxide building back up in the house and all that stuff. So I would say that's one thing. Storm windows, I guess it's a no-brainer, but check your windows for leaks, air leaks.
Okay.
That can help you because if you get a big strong wind, it can really bleed the heat out of the house just as it blows by.
Yeah.
Suck the heat right out of the place if you got leaky windows.
Okay, and how about cars? How should people prepare their cars?
Well, a couple of things. Winter tires. I'm sold. I drove so many
sold,
years on
okay.
all-season radials, and I thought, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. But now I got a car that came with a set of winter tires, and I am sold. These things grip like claws. You need winter tires around here in this climate.
Okay. Yeah, I've never had a pair, so.
Yeah. It's worth every dime, I swear.
Okay. Well, anything like undercoating as well, or?
Well, cars are built pretty well. They don't rust too much now, but certainly the battery comes next. Winter tires, number one. The battery, number two.
The battery.
The battery is going to go on you when you least want it to go. In the middle of a winter cold snap, it's going to just kind of die. So you want to have a mechanic test the battery strength with a hygrometer and see how good it is before the winter season, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. I think it was a big wake-up call last week.
Yeah.
Now, do you think the city's doing enough to keep the roads clear?
I think the city does a really good job, and hats off to John Parsons and his crew for keeping the roads clear. After a big storm, they get on it pretty fast. I'm on a bus route, so that kind of helps. Some of the smaller side streets and cul-de-sacs, it takes a while to get to them, and I'm sure other people give you other opinions. But I think the city does a good job. The only fault I have is that the plows throw mountains of heavy, slushy snow. It freezes in the mouth of my driveway, and I have to clean that out, and I just don't have the back for it.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah, it's true.
There's got to be a way. Fix that.
So what is one of the hardest part about your job?
Hardest part of the job is having to predict the future all the time because you're not going to be right all the time. And in fact, with the atmosphere being fluid as it is, it changes constantly. And something you predict can only be specific up to a point.
Okay.
And after that, if you get really specific about something, you're doing really, really good.
Now, do people ever get really mad at you for like being wrong?
Oh, sure. They think I'm wrong all the time.
Oh.
In fact, 24 hours ahead, we're wrong barely 6 or 7% of the time. But the further out you go, the more wrong you're going to get.
Yeah, true. It's less local. So.
Yeah, right. Well, it's the law of diminishing. I don't know whether that's it or not. But the further out you go, the less reliable the forecast is going to get, because the atmosphere is a fluid and it changes. And the models aren't perfect. They can predict what the atmosphere is going to do up to a point.
Okay. And for people who don't have the opportunity to listen in the radio or something, they're not driving the car, they just want to check on their phone, what should they be using, Weather Channel or the Environment Canada?
I prefer myself. If it all comes to it, I'd rather have me than either one of those.
Okay, there you go.
Environment Canada is the official weather service. They're the ones that produce all the official warnings and watches. I can't do that. I'm not allowed to do that. So what I do is I look at what Environment Canada is doing. I see if there are any mistakes that they've made or something that they missed, make the adjustment, and do my own.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks, Kevin.
Hey, that was John Wilson, weather specialist at AM 980, for talking about how to survive winter weather. Now, Jay, he also was a big fan of winter tires.
Yeah, John Wilson definitely appreciates his pair of winter tires. He said he just got them recently, and his life has never been the same.
So I currently do not have winter tires, but you said you do.
Yeah, I do have winter tires, and they are extremely helpful.
I don't know, man. Like, just winter is a season. There's a reason they're called all-season tires.
I mean, I get that, but I've also heard that the worst winter tire is better than the best all-season tire. So I don't know, Kev. I mean, it's a judgment call, I guess.
I don't know. What else did you talk about? You talked about how they're wrong 6%. Do you believe that?
Yeah, John Wilson said that the weather specialists are only wrong about 6 or 7% of the time. And I mean, I can understand what he's talking about, but I've heard a lot of people complain about the weather every day.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I going back to the cell phone thing. Like Surrey, she always helps us out. It's like, Surrey, how's the weather? And she's like, oh, it's sunny right now. Surrey is wrong most of the time.
Most of the time. Right?
I remember saying, it's like, it says it's raining and it's perfectly sunny out, or the vice versa. It's raining and it's like, oh, it's sunny. Yeah. Go for a run, Kev. Have fun.
Yeah, so I guess, weather is a hard thing to predict. It's basically like predicting the future, just like John Wilson said on here.
Yeah, it is predicting the future, and it makes sense. Like, I don't know, but you would think, I don't know, like London would be almost all the same, but...
Yeah, I mean, I've actually heard that different parts of London, like Masonville and Byron, actually get different weather, too.
Yeah,
yeah. Like, it's not that big of an area. I don't understand how the weather... I mean, sometimes it's raining in Byron and it's not in Masonville. Well, like, what's that?
How far away is Strathroy from London?
Oh, about 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
20 minutes, and they missed everything we got last week. Pretty much.
That is absolutely amazing, actually.
That's crazy.
That is.
All right, well... All right, coming up, when you do get snowed in, like we did last week, we're going to tell you what you should do when you're stuck inside. You can't really do anything, so try to stay active. You're listening to Stellar Radio, How to Survive Winter. I'm Kev, J-Roc.
How's it going?
All right, here we go.
Do you know Stellar? Yeah, of course.
Do you know Stellar?
Of course I know Stellar.
Do you know Stellar?
What's Stellar?
Stellar is a part of Radio Fanshawe. It's the magic of the studios captured on camera for your entertainment. Stellar brings you the latest news and, in general, what's going on in the City of London. Stellar is your window into the Fanshawe studios. See the Fanshawe students in action, be entertained, gain community awareness. That's what Stellar is about.
Stellar Radio is a way for you to stay connected with your school community and the community at large. There's lots going on in London, and your Stellar hosts will keep you posted, especially when it comes to school sports. This is Stellar Radio.
So I'm with Luke, and Luke, you've worked on Stellar Radio before.
Yeah, I've done it a couple times.
What do you like about Stellar?
I like that it brings a different spin to radio. It's more than just the audio. You get to prepare a half-hour video show as well. It's kind of like expanding your horizons.
What are some of the advantages Stellar has as a medium?
As a medium, it's just that really. It's in regular radio, when you're over the airwaves, you get just the audio of your voice that's brought out. But through Stellar as well, you get to share what it is you look like as well, and you can bring a whole different creative aspect to your show.
Stellar Radio is just one part of the broadcast center here at Fanshawe College, a state-of-the-art facility that is the heart of radio broadcasting and broadcast journalism programs. Stream Stellar Radio online today at stellarradio.ca and get to know Stellar a little better. You'll be glad you did.
Hey, welcome back to Stellar Radio. I'm Kev and J-Roc.
Right here. How's it going?
Now, we're telling you how to survive winter weather. And now, when you do get a massive snowstorm like we did last week, you gotta keep busy. You gotta keep moving. You just gotta keep yourself sane just a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the first snowfall of the year throws a lot of people off. They don't have the winter tires on. The road crews are out. They're working as hard as they can. I mean, it's a completely different atmosphere around the city.
And yet, we are stuck indoors. So, Jay, when you had a snow day, what do you usually do?
Well, when I had a snow day as a child, I would usually go outside, and I know the norm is to build a snowman, but I just had something.
Is that the norm?
That's usually the norm, going outside building a snowman. What do you think?
I don't know. Usually, I try to stay indoors because that's what I'm told.
See, I always like to go outside, and instead of building a snowman, I would always build one of these snow chairs. And just
built a snow chair?
A snow throne.
Throne?
Yeah, a snow throne. And I would like to sit on it. It would get your butt nice and wet. I mean, unfortunately, but...
Well, you have snow pants, right?
Yeah, snow pants, of course. But I mean, I really enjoy building these snow thrones, and sometimes like backrest, footrest, the whole shabam.
So while there's like little ice pellets and it's windy and stuff, you're sitting there in your throne going, what are you thinking at this moment?
I am the king of the outside weather.
I am the king.
That is, when I was a kid, I used to really appreciate that. So you said you used to stay inside. What kind of activities would you do?
A lot of video games. Yeah. I don't know. It's my catch-up time. Life is so busy, and it's just. I don't know. Me personally, there's probably some people who buy movies and don't really get to watch them, or buy like box season of TV shows. It's like that's your day. That's your day to sit down and enjoy it.
And it's not very often we get a day off, so it is really appreciated.
Especially this program.
Yeah, especially this program.
They would go nuts if we had a snow day.
If we had a snow day, I would be weeks behind on homework.
One day, we'd be weeks behind.
One day, it would put me back weeks.
I believe it, actually.
So, I mean, the snow we had last week, it was pretty bad, but it wasn't nearly comparison to the snowfall we had 2010. Snowmageddon. John Wilson brought it up, actually, in his interview. So, Kevin, what do you remember about Snowmageddon?
Well, I remember I was going to Fanshawe at the time.
Yep.
And pretty much, we just got satellite TV installed.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yep. And so...
Just in time?
Just in time. I remember I didn't want to drive that day. I wanted to go to the gym because you're stuck indoors, so I wanted to go to the gym. So I actually hiked in this snow, and I had boots, and my boots were literally, when I got out, it was like a good couple inches of snow just came out of my boot when I got there.
Completely.
And I didn't really feel like working out because just walking from Fanshawe to the gym that's on Highbury and Huron, that's where I was going at the time. It was a hike. It was a hike.
I believe it. I mean, walking in snow without snowshoes is quite a chore, for sure.
Yeah, it was nuts. I don't know, how did you survive, Jay?
See, well, when Snowmageddon happened in 2010, I wasn't going to Fanshawe. I was actually in high school in London. But
now you're making me feel old. Thanks, Jay.
Sorry, didn't mean to date you. But I live an hour north of London, and we didn't get the weather London had at all. So I was sitting at home. I'm like, snow day, sweet. This is really cool. I went outside. I was able to play in the snow. I was able to build snow
You were able to build your throne.
My throne, for sure. Have some friends over, sit in the throne with me. But see, Snowmageddon back away from London wasn't as bad because I didn't get all the snow that London did get. So.
Oh, it was crazy. I'm glad I didn't have the car I would currently have because my Sunfire was not going anywhere.
Sunfires, yeah, not quite best in Snowmageddon.
And that's why I believe in four-wheel drive more than snow tires, because I don't know, it's just that extra. Yet again, it is like traction. It's just the extra movement.
Yeah, four-wheel drive definitely helps for sure, especially if you're stuck. It definitely helps get you out. And actually, the cleanup crew for Snowmageddon costed around $1 million. That is how crazy.
Is that for London?
Was. That was just for London.
Just for London.
Just for London. The storm cost $1 million to clean up.
I remember we were making the joke at the time because Mel Lastman, the mayor of Toronto, a few years back, he actually called in the army to actually have, because he declared Toronto a state of emergency.
Oh,
so he got the army with shovels to dig out Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, Snowmageddon was the biggest storm in London's history, but I don't think it was quite that bad. So.
No. Well, I think Toronto was maybe a little bit overreacting.
Yeah, just a bit probably.
Yeah.
So it was actually so much snow on Snowmageddon that the air vents of houses would get full of snow. Carbon monoxide would be leaking into the house.
Really?
And they actually had to evacuate 500 students from houses to avoid that because it was actually a big issue.
I probably haven't even noticed.
Yeah, now that's a very good fact to know.
I could have brain damage right now.
Yeah.
That would explain a few things.
There was actually most businesses sent employees home, and there was actually hospitals that were postponing surgeries that weren't immediate, essential, and they're actually postponing them for later on because they just couldn't get to the hospital. The doctors couldn't get to the hospital, and, like, nothing could be done.
Wow. So. I feel bad. Actually, I feel bad. All surgeries are essential.
Yeah, yeah. So the ones that weren't
life-threatening
at the time.
Yeah,
for sure. So.
Wow. So they actually canceled surgery as well.
Yeah, and then they evacuated students out of houses. It was definitely the worst storm in London's
Where do you
history.
think those students went?
I don't know.
Where? No, they can't go to the hospital.
They can't get in there.
No, that's actually a tricky situation because if you're kicked out of your home, okay, what happens if the hotels are closed? Can't stay there.
Can't stay there.
I don't know. Your buddy's kicked out too. Where's he going?
Yeah, school was shut down. You can't go to the school.
You can't go to the school. Actually, you could.
Oh, the school wasn't
Classes
shut down.
weren't running. You could open the doors.
So you were able to go to Fanshawe.
Yeah.
Fanshawe is always willing to take in more people.
Don't say that.
Oh, okay.
If they gotta pay.
Right.
Yeah.
You gotta pay. So.
No. So yeah, Snowmageddon. It was crazy, and I'm kind of envious of you not experiencing my experience for 3 days, man.
It was pretty boring up in Huron County. I actually heard that it actually went out and span over like 5 days. 3 days, but it was really serious. But 5 day snowstorm. I mean, that is absolutely crazy. That is almost a full week of just snow.
One thing we're lucky, the power did not go out.
That actually is very fortunate.
Yeah.
Very fortunate.
And that's one thing going back. As a kid, I remember the power went out a few times during this snowstorm. I don't know, like how do you get through that then? Do you still build? You probably can still build your throne, but like, do you do anything else like without the power?
See, the issue without the power is you don't want to stay in the house really, and you don't want to go outside because it's obviously
it's a blizzard.
It's a blizzard. There's bad enough weather that it took the wet power out. So you're inside, and you got no lights. So how do you even play games?
You can't.
You can't play video games. You can hardly play board games.
No.
I mean, it's really just a time to sit down and just talk with your family, I guess.
Quality time.
Quality time.
It's kind of like what's it called? The blackout? Not the
blackout.
Is it not blackout?
I can't remember.
Earth Day.
Earth
Hour.
Yeah, Earth Hour.
Earth
Hour. It's just like Earth Hour.
Yeah.
Hanging out with your family. And I mean, it's not necessary. That's actually a good thing. So maybe losing your power in a snowstorm isn't necessarily completely a bad thing.
It's bonding time.
It's a bonding time, right? It's a huge inconvenience, but it's bonding time. So
yeah.
That's good.
So, what we did, we went out, we sort of reenacted a snow day.
Yeah, what you would do on a snow day, getting stuck inside.
So, life.
Risk.
Did you try plugging it in?
Yes, I plugged it in.
Well, I don't know. Try blowing on it.
Did you turn it off and turn it back on?
I tried it like 15 times. I don't know. Where's the reset button?
There is no reset button.
What do you mean there's no reset button?
Do you even have a Netflix login?
I thought you had one.
No.
Oh.
That is one fine-looking snowman. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that snowman was definitely a piece of pride for us.
I'm proud. Good job.
Yeah, you
Good
too.
job. Oh, that was beautiful. All right, so let's describe some of the problems we had. The leaves.
Yeah, the leaves
The
while making the
leaves.
snowman. Unfortunately, we did not rake our leaves. That's actually my house. We did not rake our leaves in the fall when we should have.
That's okay. A lot of people are guilty of that.
Yeah, so
So the leaves were an issue. Halfway through, we forgot about
the nose, the face.
the nose and face. So what did we
Buttons.
use?
Well, we were looking for rocks.
We were looking for rocks.
Couldn't find any rocks.
No, and that's weird. You're in town. I don't know. It makes sense. You're in town. You couldn't find rocks, but
I mean, and I guess there's snow everywhere, so you can't see the rocks on the ground. So
yeah.
we ended up using bottle caps.
Yeah. Bottle caps.
Yeah, they worked out well.
And the sticks. You guys had a lot of leaves, but you know what? You didn't have a lot of sticks.
We didn't have a lot of sticks. So what we did to get the sticks, actually, I'm not too proud of this. My neighbors, they had a big bin outside with all of their sticks in it. The recycling was supposed to come pick them up. So I went over there, I grabbed a couple, I brought them back over, and I put them on the snowman. I mean,
And hey, he's alive.
you got to do what you got to do, right?
He's
I mean,
alive. And then we found out word that he didn't even survive 24 hours.
yeah, he did not make the night. Unfortunately, our snowman, when I got home, was lying on the face first into the snow.
Kids.
They came around, they pushed him over. I mean, it was very unfortunate.
If there's one stellar topic that should be addressed, it's those kids nowadays. Just
Yeah, those kids nowadays.
destruction.
I mean, that snowman was really close to our heart.
Yeah, we
now
worked
it's
hard
gone.
on that.
Now it's gone.
It took us 6 minutes.
6 minutes.
Coming up on Stellar Radio, Jared, you went out in the streets on Fanshawe.
Yeah, I got the opinions of what you guys, the listeners, think about what do you do during the winter when you get snowed in.
All right, you're listening to Stellar Radio. I'm Kev. This is J-Roc, and we're telling you how to survive a winter snowstorm.
Have you ever wanted your voice to be on the X? What is the X, you might be asking yourself? Well, we are here to show you just what the X is and what the X is all about. CFRL, Stellar Radio, and the X are all part of the Broadcast Center at Fanshawe College, a state-of-the-art facility that is the center of the radio broadcasting and broadcast journalism programs. But we're here to tell you about the X and how it makes us feel.
Real wild, just can't chill.
6.9 The X, Pat taking you through till 3 p.m. Coming up, full lineup for Rock the Park has been announced, and Meta World Peace isn't feeling very peaceful these days. Right now, LAPD, the original, flip it, it's Betty Crocker on 106.9 The X.
So, what does the X mean to you?
To me, the X, it means like all those good times, those blurry nights, those thumping beats, and those good nights with friends, good music.
What does the X mean to you?
It means a great opportunity to prove myself on the air and provides a great learning experience.
Well, the X is pretty important to me. It's one of the first, radio stations that we can actually practice on. As a radio broadcaster, it's really great because I can actually have hands-on experience and, learn the basis of the field.
So that's what the X is. Check us out online or come down to Fanshawe College and experience it all for yourself.
Anything is possible at the X.
Stellar Radio, I'm Kev. This is J-Roc. We're discussing how to survive a winter weather. Now, Jay, we had an awful storm last week.
Yep.
And I don't know, how do you think the other people of Fanshawe survived? Like, how do you think they handled it?
I think there was a lot of people that definitely stayed inside their houses last week. First snowfall of the year, not a lot of people didn't have the winter tires on, just like we said.
Did you know the last snowfall we had, the first snowfall of the year, 160 collisions were reported in London alone.
That is absolutely amazing.
But, so you think, first snowfall. People, they smartened up. They're like, now is our chance. We learned our lesson. We're going to get our snow tires. We're going to drive safe,
Yep.
Second snowfall last week. One day, Saturday, 150 collisions. That's one day. The first snowfall was over 2. This is over 1 day.
People I guess they just want to drive like it's summer still. They just want to be out there. They want to be crazy. Some people like to have fun on the snow too. They like to do burnouts. They like to do fishtails.
That's true, but I don't think they're doing that on city streets.
No, and 160 crashed. 155. That is
150.
150. That is astonishing in one day.
We don't know about Sunday. I didn't look up the stats, but I just know this on the top of my head. 150. So
See, now I understand why CAA had a 3-hour delay.
there we go.
And so this is why you're going to be outside. You should be wearing nice, warm winter weather because this is what happens.
Yeah, and also it's just when it is careful, like just not only drive better for yourself, like keep an eye on the other guys. Just look around. If Buddy's speeding, it's like, go ahead, man. Leave me alone.
Yep. Yeah.
Just back off.
Especially if you're on a major highway, the 401, the 402,
401.
just, you know.
Oh, did you hear about the 401?
No, what happened?
Last week, a transport truck. It was he actually drove through the barrier.
Oh.
He drove right through into oncoming
Into oncoming traffic.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What happened?
What's our producer saying? Oh, our producer drove past it.
Oh, okay. John, our producer, drove past it.
Yeah, and apparently just like almost 36 cars ran into it.
That is terrible.
Yeah.
Completely terrible. That is absolutely, you know.
So yeah, just some of it's bad luck. Some of it you just really got to keep your head up. So
Yeah, for sure. I mean, not saying that wouldn't happen in the summer, but you definitely have to be a lot more careful in the winter driving out there. It's slippery out.
Yeah. So Jay, how are the people of Fanshawe responding to the storm we had?
Well, we went around Fanshawe, and there was a lot of response. A lot of people talk about how they like to stay inside, play video games. A lot of students like to do that. You know,
See, I'm not alone.
It's a good time. It's a good time killer. It's a cheap way to do it too. That was mainly the response we got from the people in the hallways.
Okay, were they worried at all about the winter weather?
See, a lot of them, you know, they were concerned about it, but a lot of them don't even have their winter tires on yet still. So clearly they're not
People
too
aren't
worried.
clicking.
No. I mean, these numbers, 150 crashes, they're just like, it's not going to be me.
Then again, we are asking students, people who probably can't afford winter tires.
Right. They're probably stuck driving buses or even in their cars, sticking with all-season tires.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, and that's one thing we looked at too. Like, it's the bus system. It was super delayed.
yeah.
So
Yeah, we got some response from that. People were really upset they missed some classes, but...
all right, let's take a look.
We're here with Sam. Sam, are you worried about the winter weather?
Yeah, a little bit.
Nah, not really. We've survived enough winters in the past.
Not really. I mean, like last year was like Snowmageddon. Like that's how they called it. We had to call in snowplows from other cities to help. It was so bad. Not at all.
No, after 21 years, I'm pretty used to it.
Yeah, a little bit. I hear that it's going to be really bad for the whole season, and it's pretty dangerous out there on the streets. And I think that people turn into much worse drivers just because there's snow on the ground, which I think is ridiculous.
I'm not really that worried. I don't know. Snow doesn't really bother me. I don't drive. I take the bus, so I'm not worried about people like hitting the bus and killing me. I don't know.
Aren't you worried about being cold?
No, I dress appropriately, wear layers.
Spoken like a true Canadian.
Yes.
No, not really. No.
Not worried about the weather? What do you do to prepare for the winter weather?
I buy boots to keep my feet warm.
Wear lots of coats and stuff and hats.
Dress warm.
Just wear more pants and have boots that keep your feet dry. I would say that's the keyest things is to stay warm and dry.
I start layering coats, so I like have another bigger coat and then a vest that I can wear under that. I wear a hat and gloves. Yeah, pretty basic.
Same as usual. Go hunt some animals, use their fur as some coats.
What do I do to prepare? Okay, well, I usually have to buy a new hat and mitts, like every year, because I always lose them the year before. And they're usually not warm enough, so then I usually have to buy another pair. And I have to make sure they're cute, and go with all my outfits. That's what I do, yeah.
I just took this scarf out of, like, I don't know, my closet or wherever I was keeping it. Mittens, I took those out of storage. Storage, that's the word I was looking for.
Yes.
But I do want a new scarf.
Yeah, that one's
I don't know.
cool.
Well, it's HSBC, right? It's like the
Oh,
Olympics. HBC, that's what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, so that's how I would prepare, yeah.
I just got snow tires on, if that counts.
So you just put snow tires on your car. Did you put them on before the first snowfall or after?
After.
Do you have a car?
Yes, I do.
Do you put snow tires on your car?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Did you put them on before the first snowfall, or do you have them on yet? Or?
I'm not really sure. My car's at home, so I'm assuming yes.
Okay. All right.
I do have a car, yeah.
Did you put your snow tires on your car yet?
See, actually what happened was, well, we got some snow, like 2 weeks ago, and I didn't have snow tires on my car, and I was freaking out because I had to, it snowed there was that day that it snowed all day here, and then I had to drive home. It was horrible. And people were there's a person in my lane in the oncoming traffic. Like, there was no left turning lane, so they just pretended there was, and like, it was almost like head on. Anyways, yeah, I do have my snow tires on.
So did you put them on before the first, or so you put them on after the first snowfall then?
Yeah, unfortunately it was after the first snowfall, but I made sure to get them on when I went home, and then because they were sitting in my garage at home, but then I waited for like 2 hours at Canadian Tire. It was pretty bad.
Do you have a car?
I do not. I even bike some days. I hate the bus, and walking is slow, so I've been biking a little bit, but I don't have a car.
How is it biking in the winter when the roads are all slippery and the sidewalks have ice all over them?
It's awful. I'm thinking about starting to not bike to school anymore because it's costing me money in bike repairs, etc.
Would you consider walking over biking when it's slippery out?
I will end up walking. My boots have good tread, but it's slow and I hate it.
What do you use to get around during the winter?
My legs.
Do you find it annoying, or are you ever late to things because the sidewalks are slippery, or you can't get through something because there's so much snow? Or
Yeah, it is annoying.
Do you ever have a lot of problems like walking in the winter?
Sometimes. Yeah, just not being cleared. Sidewalks are filled with snow, and you walk on the road.
Do you have a car?
No, I ride the bus.
You ride the bus? Okay, so have you ever been affected by bad weather while riding the bus? So have you ever been like delayed, or has the bus ever been delayed?
No. Just when I get off the bus, the sidewalks aren't plowed, so I have to trudge through the like calf deep snow, and it's like snow all the way up to my legs, and it's just terrible.
Have you ever been affected by bad weather while riding the bus? So has the bus ever been late? Have you ever been late because of the bus and because of the weather?
I mean, they're pretty good for coming to Fanshawe. I guess the 4 Oxford runs on time, and other than that, no issues.
Okay. So you've never been late because the bus couldn't get through a big snowstorm or anything like that?
No, only been late because I've been late myself. Okay. Nothing to do with the buses.
What do you do on a snow day?
I play PS3 a lot, I guess. Yeah, as much as I can.
What do you do on a snow day?
Stay inside or shovel my way out and go tobogganing or snowboarding, preferably.
Usually I just stay inside. It's like
play some board games.
Mine is like, my street is like the last one to get plowed usually, so it's just like, why bother?
I don't know. Usually just sit down and have a date with Netflix.
Play video games.
Do you ever do anything outdoor activities on a snow day?
I've been known to build a snowman the odd time,
I guess maybe snowboard if I can. Mostly just falling, but yeah.
Yeah, I try and stay active in the winter. Like I said, I lived out west and I love snowboarding, so that and just, I don't know, walking around.
Do you have any other tips for people who are preparing for these harsh Canadian winters?
Not really. Just don't be stupid on the roads and everything should be fine.
Perfect. Thanks, Sam.
No problem.
I guess like James said, leave on time or like early and don't slip. Put salt down on your sidewalks.
Man, there's a lot of stores where you can buy these little things that like heat up, like when you click them down, and you can just reuse them by boiling them. So I bought a bunch of those for my friends, and because they get cold real easy, so I just give it to them.
Okay, so what do you use those for? Like in your gloves or something? Or for your...
You usually keep them in like your pockets or something, or maybe you could strap one to your leg if you want to.
Perfect. All right, thanks guys. I really appreciate this.
No problem.
Sweet.
Have fun with it. Embrace it.
All right, thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
Try not to think too much about how bad it is, and it'll just fly by like the rest of the school year.
Perfect. All right, thank you very much.
No worries.
All right, thanks, girls. I really appreciate this.
On a snow day, I usually stay in and binge watch TV. I try to get some work done. Although, yeah, we did have a snow day. I go to Western too, in was it 3 years ago now? Okay. It was like Snowmageddon, so yeah, I had to study, which was shitty. But I did stare at the window for long periods of time and cuddle up in my Snuggie, so that was fun.
All right, perfect. Thanks very much, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, Stellar Radio, talking about how to survive winter weather. Well, we learned a lot.
We did. We learned a lot this show.
We learned a lot. And I hope you did too. We'd like to thank all our guests, all our streeters we got, John Wilson.
Yeah.
Your property, your landlords for...
Yeah, they definitely...
for letting us build a snowman and almost not destroying your house, but
Yeah.
glad your roommates weren't around. Probably gave us a hard time.
Yeah, we definitely left quite a mess after those board games we
Yeah,
played, for sure.
Especially Monopoly. That was a mess.
That was quite a mess, Monopoly. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, next week, tune in to Brad and Cody for Stellar Radio. Same time, same place. Thanks for tuning in.